I trusted her more than I trusted myself. That was my biggest mistake. When people talk about love, they usually describe butterflies, late-night calls, and promises whispered in the dark. For me, love was discipline, loyalty, standing by one person even when the world offered easier options. I gave her that kind of love for 3 years, believing that if I was consistent enough, honest enough, and patient enough, nothing could break us. I was wrong. Her name was Maya. She had a soft laugh that made strangers feel welcome and eyes that always looked like they were hiding something. I ignored that second part. I told myself everyone had secrets. I didn't realize I was dadding one. The first crack appeared on an ordinary evening. She said she was going out with her friends, nothing unusual. She kissed my cheek, told me not to wait up, and left wearing a dress she rarely wore with me. I noticed, but I didn't question it. Trust, I believed, meant not interrogating the person you loved. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I think you should know what your girlfriend is doing." I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. I replied, asking who it was, no response. Then a photo arrived. Maya, sitting in a dimly lit cafe, her hand resting on another man's thigh. Her face turned toward him in a way I hadn't seen in months. My chest tightened, but I still tried to explain it away. Maybe it was an old photo. Maybe it was taken out of context. I called her. No answer. Again. Voicemail. By the time she came home, my faith was already bleeding. She walked in like nothing had happened. Shoes off, phone on the table. She smiled and asked why I was still awake. I held up my phone and showed her the picture. For a moment, her face froze. Then she sighed as if I had just inconvenienced her. "It's not what it looks like," she said. That sentence should be illegal. It always means exactly what it looks like. She admitted it slowly, carefully, like she was negotiating a deal. She had been seeing him for months, an old coworker, someone who understood her better. She said it didn't mean anything serious. She said she didn't plan for it to happen. She said she still loved me. I listened quietly. Not because I accepted her excuses, but because something inside me had gone completely cold. That night I didn't shout, I didn't beg, I didn't cry in front of her. I simply told her to leave. She packed a bag and walked out, not even looking back. For weeks after that, I was empty. Friends told me to move on, to block her, to forget. But forgetting wasn't possible when every memory felt like a lie. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was humiliated. Betrayed, made a fool of. Then something changed. One afternoon, while scrolling through social media, I saw a post she shared. A picture with him, smiling, captioned like they had been in love forever. That was the moment I stopped feeling pain and started feeling clarity. I didn't want her back. I wanted the truth to be seen. I knew her better than anyone. I knew her habits, her ambitions, her weaknesses. I knew how carefully she curated her image, how badly she needed validation, how terrified she was of being exposed as someone who used people and discarded them when they were no longer useful. So I planned. Not out of anger, but out of precision. I didn't contact her directly. Instead, I reconnected with people from her past, old friends, former coworkers, people she had quietly stepped over to get ahead. I listened more than I spoke. I asked innocent questions. I let them talk. Patterns emerged. I wasn't the first. I wouldn't be the last. She had a way of overlapping relationships, making sure she never fell without another hand to catch her. She lied with confidence, cheated with charm, and walked away without consequences. Until now. I started documenting everything. Messages she had sent me while she was with him. Voice notes where she promised loyalty, screenshots, dates, times. I never edited anything. I didn't need to. The truth was enough. Meanwhile, I worked on myself. I went to the gym, focused on my career, built a calm, controlled version of myself that no longer needed her approval. Revenge isn't loud. The best kind is silent and patient. Months passed. Then unexpectedly, she messaged me. "I miss you," she wrote. "I made a mistake." I didn't reply immediately. I waited. Then I responded politely, calmly, like someone who had healed. She was surprised, curious. She asked to meet. I agreed. When we sat across from each other, she looked nervous. She talked about regret, about how things hadn't worked out the way she expected, about how she realized I was the only one who truly cared. I listened and smiled. Inside, everything was ready. I told her I forgave her, that people make mistakes, that I had moved on but wished her well. Relief washed over her face. She thought she had escaped consequences again. That night, I uploaded nothing, posted nothing. I simply sent a few carefully chosen messages to a few carefully chosen people. The truth was about to walk on its own. And she had no idea what was coming. The first crack in her perfect new life appeared quietly. A mutual friend unfollowed her, then another. A coworker she once bragged about removed her from their private group chat. Maya noticed, of course. She always noticed changes in attention. Validation was her oxygen. She messaged me again. "Did you say something about me?" I replied honestly. "No, I've been busy with my own life." That wasn't a lie. What I didn't tell her was that the screenshots were already moving, not posted publicly, not yet. They were shared privately, person to person, exactly the way gossip spreads best. No captions, no commentary, just evidence. People drew their own conclusions. Her boyfriend found out first. He messaged me late one night, angry and confused, demanding to know if the screenshots were real. I told him the truth. I sent him dates that overlapped perfectly with their relationship. Messages where she told me she loved me while she was supposedly committed to him. He didn't reply after that. 2 days later, she called me crying. "He left," she said. "He says I lied to him about everything." I felt nothing, not satisfaction, not pity, just distance. "I'm sorry," I said calmly. "That must be hard." She started talking faster, trying to pull me back into the emotional chaos we once shared. She said people were treating her differently, that her reputation was being ruined by lies, that someone was trying to destroy her. I let her talk. Then I said, "Maya, actions don't disappear just because we hide them." Silence. She hung up. The fallout didn't stop there. At work, she was suddenly under scrutiny. Someone had forwarded old messages where she had taken credit for work that wasn't hers. Someone else remembered how she had quietly sabotaged a colleague to get promoted. None of it was new. It had simply been ignored before. Now it was. Her online presence changed too. Fewer posts, comments turned off, smiles replaced by neutral captions. The confident woman who once controlled every narrative was now trapped inside one she couldn't edit. She tried to reach me again, this time not as a lover, as an ally. "Can we talk?" she asked. "I need you." I agreed, but only to end things properly. We met at the same cafe where I had first seen the photo that broke me. She arrived late, looking exhausted. Her confidence was gone, replaced by anxiety and defensiveness. She accused me without saying my name directly. She said someone was spreading things about her, ruining her life, making her look like a villain. I looked at her and said something she would remember forever. "I didn't ruin your life. I just stopped protecting you from the truth." Her eyes filled with tears, not because she was sorry, but because she had lost control. "You planned this," she whispered. "No," I replied. "I healed, and healing doesn't include lying for people who hurt you." She tried to apologize then. A real apology, she claimed, but apologies don't work when they come after consequences. They only work when they come before exposure. I stood up and left. That was the last time we spoke. Months passed. I heard about her life through distant connections. She changed jobs, moved apartments, deleted old accounts and started new ones, tried to rebuild her image somewhere people didn't know her story. But the thing about truth is this: it doesn't chase you loudly. It waits, and when you repeat the same behavior, it resurfaces. As for me, I changed too. I learned that love without boundaries becomes permission for disrespect. I learned that silence can be more powerful than confrontation. And I learned that revenge doesn't have to be cruel to be effective. The best revenge is letting someone face themselves without the shield you once provided. One evening, long after everything had settled, I received a message from a number I didn't recognize. It was her. "I hope you're happy," she wrote. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. "I am, because I finally chose myself." She never replied again. And that was the real ending. Not her downfall. Not my victory. But my freedom.